Hello and welcome to My Private Brand Talks. My name is Christopher Durham and I'm the president of My Private Brand. This is my weekly opportunity to have a conversation with the movers and shakers of private brand from all around the world. Today's guest is Christophe Vanackère, and I may not be saying your name correct, Christophe, so you can fix it for me, from Trace One. But before we jump into talking to Christophe, I wanted to acknowledge our sponsors, AGRITALIA and SGS & Co. Both thank you very much for sponsoring. As you look at this on the My Private Brand page, there's links below. Please go visit them and tell them you saw them on My Private Brand Talks. And then we're off to the races. Christophe, first of all, tell me how to say your name, and then tell us about yourself. Say it again, I'm sorry.
My name is Christophe, same as you.
Yep.
Vanackère. It's a Dutch name, Flemish name from the north of France.
Oh, very nice. And you are with Trace One. Tell me your title.
Yeah, I'm the CEO of Trace One now for a bit more than 4.5 years. Happy to be leading this great company who is now 21 years old and who is serving the CPG industry, basically.
Very good. So tell us a little bit more about Christophe. How did you get to where you're at? Tell me about your career path.
Yeah. I've been always working in global companies. I speak English and German and French, so that helps. And I've been working in technology and in high tech in various industries. I've been working also in the PLM industry for the fashion industry many years. And so when I met Trace One, I thought the PLM for the CPG industry would be good as an add on it. And that's the way I came there. And it's a great human adventure. Trace One is the right size, 200 people, 7 countries, and just enough to have an impact for the people, for the team, and for the clients.
And I actually had the privilege to be in Paris a couple of years ago for a Trace One event, and Christophe and I had a nice leisurely Parisian lunch with some wine. So if you have a chance, visit Christophe in Paris. That was fabulous.
You're welcome. We're still there.
Hopefully we can travel soon. That would be great.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, so give us a little more detail on Trace One then. Talk about who your clients are. What do you do? Give us the elevator speech.
Look, Trace One is, if we look at the core business or the core aim of Trace One is being the collaborative platform to link brand owners, retailers, and manufacturers, suppliers. And these communities working very hard together, they have to share a lot of documentation, a lot of information. And Trace One is putting a platform on which they can really work together and ease their life from the ideation of a product up to the delivery or the finished product, which is going to be on the shelf. And that's exactly what Trace One has been doing now for 21 years. Of course, we have added a lot of applications around this collaborative platform, but that's really the aim of Trace One.
Well, and I know recently you were acquired by STG, so tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, Trace One, I joined Trace One with AG from the UK, private equity. And during 4.5 years, we've been professionalizing the company, structuring, bringing new products, making a lot of modernization in the way we've been working. So the company became extremely efficient, and the customer satisfaction has been at the center of what we wanted to do. And we are happy to say that today we have very good feedback from many customers. We started growing and expanding, and now we moved to STG in May this year, so very recent. And we continue the adventure. And the idea with STG now is to keep on growing the company organically, as we have been doing, but also inorganically, to see how we can capture some more customers, some more markets in this CPG ecosystem. We remain very focused on the private label. This is our core, this is our specialty, this is the expertise that we are sharing, and that the customers like so much when they work with Trace One.
And where is STG based? Or the US or no?
It's in Palo Alto, West Coast.
Oh, that's right, California. That's Palo Alto. That's the center of tech there, isn't it?
Yeah, so we have this nice 9 hours time difference, which gets us talk early in the morning or late in the evening. But but we have also clients and people in the US. So I think that for us, it's great to be working with an American company. It's great to be very dynamic, and Symphony Technology has the reputation also to bring a lot of value to all the portfolio companies. And this is what we are experimenting now today.
Well, that's very exciting. Well, so let's talk about private brand a little bit. I know you work with lots of retailers, and they're always introducing new products, and you've had, some new, I guess, product launches and things over the last year or so. So tell me a little bit about those.
Yeah, if we talk about the private brand today, we have been choosing to keep on getting into this vertical, which is so specific for the retailer and for the brand owners. And I think it was a very good choice from Trace One at the beginning, and it was a good choice to continue to stay in the private label, because we say it grows. We see it becoming more and more popular everywhere across the globe, and any kind of retailer, very small chains to the big ones. So we keep on focusing our efforts there, even though last year we launched a marketplace on which we welcome brand owners, manufacturers, raw material suppliers, national brands, all players of the ecosystem. So that's the open window on this market. This year we have launched again, I would say again, because during the last 4.5 years, we've been launching a lot of new applications dedicated to the manufacturers or dedicated to both brand owners and manufacturers. And that's something which is important to us. So we launched the e-sourcing and the RFX in the first part of 2021, which is dedicated to the marketplace to do some product requests, but also for industry, for manufacturers to show and to put their product on a vitrine so that they develop their business. And we are launching at the end of this year QMS, the quality management system, which is getting more into the conformity, the compliance, the quality management, which is such a big focus today for all the companies. And that was a big demand, a big request from manufacturers and retailers to have an application which would help them manage all the certifications, conformity, and make sure that everything is set somewhere and they are all up to date, which is, of course, the usual stress that companies are having. So the activity and the development of the added value product portfolio is extremely active, and we keep on investing 20% of our revenue in product, which is high for a 21-year-old company.
Very nice. So, I mean, I know that I've had the privilege of talking to a few of your people about the quality management systems, and it looks like there's a lot of cool things coming down the pike, as well as there'll be a lot more opportunities to kind of dive deep into the sustainability piece of it. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The idea is really to get into this capacity to trace all the various ingredients, operations, certifications, and norms, and make sure that we get more and more in this sustainability, where we know that there is a lot of demand. We have coupled to that sustainability action the Insight software, which is a BI, in which we have many dashboard collections which are ready to use, which is helping the manufacturers, but also the retailers, but very dedicated to manufacturers last year, to have them any kind of statistic and dashboard showing the progress, showing where they go, where they are, what they have to do, what's the project process and progress. And that puts them in the best conditions to be able to also to be compliant to what the market demands, the institutions are requesting. There are plenty of governmental requests now to be compliant with, and that makes tons of documentation which are online today, but which needs to be stored and up to date somewhere. So yeah. The more we go, the more we will. Quality is the heart of Trace One. Quality management system is just bringing another brick closing to the sustainability approach, and we'll probably keep on digging into this direction because there is a lot of demand from our clients.
Well, and we're seeing retailers all around the world make big announcements about sustainability, and to meet the goals that they're setting, they have to track it somehow, right? So
track it, store it, and be ready to show them. And
right.
and that's exactly where it is aimed to.
Well, very exciting. So actually, if you'd like to learn more about that, a little plug for both of us here, Christophe. Trace One will actually be a sponsor for our upcoming events. So the innovation event in September and the sustainability event in December. So there'll be lots of conversation, and you can learn more and meet some of the Trace One people as well. So let's talk about the future a little bit, Christophe. You have such a unique worldview. You work with lots and lots of retailers and manufacturers. One of my favorite questions is really about what is the potential of private brand over the next 5 to 10 years. So not specifically any one retailer, but just where can we go and how do we get there? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the thoughts and the feedback we see from various countries and various sizes of companies, and also the feedback we get from the consumers. And this pandemic has given us the opportunity to probably analyze more, reflect more, and look and really watch the consumers. And we did a lot in that regard at Trace One. And what I see today is that there is a proximity which is evidence with the private brand for consumers. People want to trust the product. They want to be able to know. And it's true that when you're used to consume since you are a child at some retailers, brand that you know, or brand owners, you feel you know them. The proximity that with the production, which is more and more local, makes it like you can touch it. And I see more and more people who are moving to private brands because sometimes they see national brands which they have no clue where it is coming from and who is behind that. When they buy a private brand, they feel it's local. It's true that many brand owners are also working on the fact that everything is produced 100 miles around the place you will buy it. So this proximity is just growing the private brand. When we see today the sophistication of the private brand, and when we see the consumers in Europe, for example, who are from 20 to 25 years old, they even don't realize they buy a private brand. They just buy something which is good, which is nice, and which is affordable, and which is sometimes a bit exquisite because it's black labeled or sophisticated, and they love it. And for them, this brand, they never thought it was a retailer brand before.
That's right.
Yeah. Because the names have been changed or have been shortened, just like this. And I think that it becomes a real brand, or it was already a real brand, but probably the population was looking at it in a different way because of the origin. But today, everybody's going ahead on that. Retailers and brand owners are communicating a lot on the fact that they can control what they do with their brands when they cannot with the other brands they acquire and put on the shelf. So it brought some kind of stimulation. Some people are talking about competition. I'm talking about stimulation because I think that it is pushing people to invest in innovation, and we see the creativity of the private brands, which is sometimes higher than to the others. And some old brands are just now waking up all of a sudden, wondering why their sales are coming a bit down, or the proportion is just getting shifted. We see 37% of private label in France today. It's big.
It's huge. Absolutely. I mean, we're seeing it across the globe, just particularly the younger range of millennials, like you were saying, or even Gen Z. They don't care about their grandparents' brands. They just don't. So they walk into Carrefour, Tesco, or Kroger, or whoever, and they're like, okay, I trust you. I'll try it. Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that, and I buy from 5 different ways of buying, and that's probably the second challenge. And obviously for a retailer, having a multi-channel distribution, handling his own product, putting his own product on the top of the shelf is something which is natural. As we say, we want to drink our own champagne. So we do the same when we are consuming. So I think that the fact that with the pandemic, we are all staying more home, especially in countries where people were used to go every day to the office, of course, they consume more, they cook more, they buy more, and that will stay even if we go back to restaurants. Luckily, I think this balance is going to change, and we see in countries like France or Germany or Spain where working from home was really occasionally, now is really becoming a rule. It's 2 days at the office, 3 days at home. This is naturally going to change, and consumers are just going to carry on the same rhythm. So I see a great future. Sometimes I wondered why Trace One shouldn't get into all the brands. But when I stepped in Trace One 5 years ago, I was thinking that. Now I'm convinced I'm going to stay on my roots because it's not a trend. I think it's really something which is structural. It's something which is a real brand, and it brings something where there is a very nice dynamic, which is of course bringing more opportunity for consumers, and that's all what people want at the end is having
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's the whole conversation, around what these brands and products are called: private label, private brand, A brand, B brand, all this stuff honestly has become irrelevant to me. If you or I owned a brand and we were distributed in Carrefour and Tesco and Walmart or whoever, we would be a major brand, period. So the fact that a retailer owns it doesn't really change that. And then the question is, does a consumer accept it? And more sure seems like they do. So it's very, very exciting. And honestly, all the move to online can only make what you do more important, because the ability to have good data and traceability is a huge product. So, absolutely. Well, very good. Well, it's an exciting conversation. So as you know, we always end up with the same 5 questions. They're always fun. You speak multiple languages, so you're welcome to answer them however you like. But I'll let James Lipton from the Actors Studio. I hope people are Googling James Lipton and finding out who he is, because he's fabulous. But here's the 5 questions slightly adapted. So what's your favorite word?
So in fact, it's 2 words, but it's human adventure. Some people are asking me sometimes, how was your 4.5 years with Trace One so far? And I always see myself saying a fantastic human adventure. And it's true. It's true because that's what enterprise are. Especially in software, we have software and people. Yep. People is the biggest part of it. So I think that it's a good summary, and it came naturally when you put the question, to be honest.
Well, that's fabulous, though, because you're going to work every day and it's an adventure, then you want to go to work, right?
Yeah, and I think that learning from each other and discovering people that you thought you knew are sitting next to you or remotely is something which is very motivating, I would say, and exciting.
Very good. So, second question: are you a more artistic or a more mathematic person?
Artistic. My wife is the engineer at home.
Oh, okay. Very good. Let's see. If you could share a meal with anyone, past or present, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Difficult. But there is one which came also very instinctively. I spent a couple of years ago, 10 years ago, I spent a lot of time in South Africa. And I've been fascinated by Nelson Mandela, history, life, print, not only in South Africa, but in the whole continent, which I knew from far away.
Sure.
And by spending time there and by trying to get visiting things and discussing with people from there, I thought sometimes when I look at some films or great movies they did on his life, I would love to spend couple of hours with this guy just to hear from his voice what he has been doing and how he has been driving his whole life, basically. It's very impressive, very impressive.
That would be fascinating. Let's see. Number 4, what profession other than your own would you have liked to have attempted?
The first one that I would have loved to be is being a veterinary. Do we say?
Oh, veterinarian. Okay. Yay.
And that was my first ambition. So I keep it somewhere. I don't know what I will do. I have animals at home, so that's one. But I would have loved to do that. But
that would be cool.
But not in city, outside of cities. And
so large animals as well, horses.
Yeah, large animals in farms or in the countryside.
Yes.
And, I have a new neighbor who is a veterinary on the countryside, so I'm getting too passionate to talk with him. So somewhere it is there.
No, that would be
very different to what I'm doing today, but
yeah, that's cool. Finally, number 5, if you could speak to yourself when you begin your career, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say follow more your instinct. And I think that did I follow my instinct? Yes, I have a great feeling I followed my instinct or my ambition, but probably sometimes hesitant or trying to get in control of everything. So I would say to myself, just if you have an idea, don't think you are thinking too big. Sometimes you think something and people are telling around you, okay, cool down, don't be that impatient. So be impatient and or be more impatient, because I think that probably when we have something in our mind or in our head or in as a direction, we have it. I always dreamt I would work in various languages, I would be traveling and so on. And many people told me that will never happen. It happened from day 2. My first job was in Austria. So that's the way I learned German. And then I've been living in many countries. So I would say, yes, I would say that basically. Just put a more on everything you see and learn from the others, even if you don't fit, because sometimes it's like a chemical effect. You fit with people or not. And we see that in management as a CEO. Some people are sometimes saying there is no fit. There is a fit. It's not a full fit, but try to take the best out of each and every one, and don't forget about the rest. There are things you don't like, leave it, but learn, because that will build yourself, and you will save a lot of time and probably enjoy it in a different way. So that's act when you feel it's the right time. To me, everything is a question of timing, and sometimes we are waiting a bit too long. But yeah, I would say that.
Well, thank you very much, Christophe. I appreciate the insights. Love having a conversation with you all the way from Paris. So that's super fun to be able to talk to people all around the world. One of the fringe benefits of the last year and a half, I suppose. As I always do, I like to plug the events we have coming up because it's my show and I get to. So coming up in September, we'll do our My Private Brand Innovation Summit. It'll be virtual. Tickets are free, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. You can see Christophe's team will be there as well. They're sponsoring the Innovation Summit. And then in December, we'll actually do our 2nd annual Sustainability Summit, also virtual. You won't want to miss that. So please click below. You can get tickets for free and join us. Thank you very much, Christophe. I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you, Christopher. Me too. And hope we can have another lunch in Paris soon.
Oh, let's hope so. I would love to be in Paris right now. So we will see you soon.